The Niqabi Diary Season 1 illustrated book is now available in paperback. Own your copy now by clicking the link in the description box. Assalamu alaikum. You're listening to the Niqabi Diary series by The Pen, the sound of sisters raising their voices with the written word. I'm your host Samar, and thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sister. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am doing fine. Jazakumullah khairan. How are you too?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Very good. Jazakallah khair, sister, for joining us for this episode of By the Pen, the sound of sisters raising their voices with the written word. Sister, could you tell us, Sister Hafsah and Nurein, could you tell us about your new book that you've got coming out, inshallah?
Now, Jazakumullah khairan. First off, thank you for having me on the show. Now, the title of my book is To Err is Human.
MashaAllah.
And it is an Islamic fiction book. It's a fiction book, but it's Islamic fiction. That's what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the story centers, or it follows two people, two characters. They're as different as and far apart as night and day, but their lives become unavoidably intertwined when certain events occur in both their lives, and these events cause their paths to cross, and in doing so, so many things happen. Bonds were formed and broken, loyalties were tested, and so many things happened. Really. So it's basically about two characters who become, whose paths cross in the unlikeliest of ways.
Okay.
Let me just put it that way.
Okay, mashallah. So who's the book aimed at? Which age group is it? And is it for females, for males? Which is the genre?
Like I said before, it's Islamic fiction. It's aimed at Muslims of all ages, basically Muslims who can read. So it's not, I didn't really target a particular demographic. I just targeted Muslims generally. But
so like an adult, is it like kind of teens and upwards then?
Yes, teens and upwards, even any preteen that can read, anybody, maybe basically from 9 years and above, because the book is Islamic fiction, and I try to weave in some reminders for, Muslims when they read it, and they can get, reminded about, stuff about the religion. So basically, anybody can read it, because and anybody that reads it, could, relate to the characters. Okay, so it's not really, I'm not, restricting the audience. Really, it's just Muslims.
Okay, so what's the base setting like? Which country is it kind of set in, or which kind of?
It's set in Nigeria, because I'm from Nigeria, so it's set in Nigeria. It's set in the the northern part and the southwestern part of Nigeria.
Mashallah, mashallah. So what inspired you to write such a book, sister? Is this your first book, or have you got other books as well that you've written?
This is my first book.
Right, okay. So yeah, what was your inspiration then?
My inspiration to write this book, it stemmed from wanting to highlight the effects of two very important issues that are plaguing my home country, Nigeria now. And those two issues, there are a lot of issues, sure, but I just chose to, focus on these two issues because I have an experience with one of them, really. And those two issues are the dwindling healthcare system in our country and insurgency. So I wanted to highlight the effects that these issues are having on, the common people, not the politicians or the elite or, not those people in the top 1% of our country, no, the common people, the people who are most affected by these issues. So I just wanted to highlight it and talk about it so that people around the world can read and see how these issues affect common people, because it's told from the point of view of normal Nigerians, people Nigerians that go about their day-to-day activities, trying to hustle and get things done. So how these issues affect them is just what I wanted to highlight and let people know about it.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So, and what would you say the main message was that you're trying to get across with your book?
The main theme of the book really is, I would say, it's forgiveness.
Okay.
It's forgiveness, that no matter what, no matter how a person has hurt you, it's better, it pays off for everyone for you to find a place in your heart to forgive. There are lots of other sub themes like how to deal with envy, jealousy, love, but the main theme really is forgiveness and how to and redemption. Yes, and redemption.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, amazing. Okay, so what would you say your biggest challenge was when writing this book?
My biggest challenge was the writing itself. It was the writing itself, because contrary to what some people may believe, writing is hard. Writing is hard. And I think it's even harder for us writers. And it wasn't easy for me to write some parts of the book.
In what sense? What do you mean that writing is hard for us writers? Like, what do you mean by that?
It's hard because sometimes we don't feel like we're not in that space to write. We may not be in that head space to really get things down, but we just decide to push on because we want to get our book out, or because we want to get our stories out there. Sometimes I am speaking for myself now. Sometimes I feel like quitting. I just feel like I don't want to write this book anymore. I don't want to write this story anymore, because like I said before, I just want to digress. I said before, this is my first book, and it was formerly a web series. I used to post it on my blog.
All right. Okay. Mashallah.
Yes, as a web series, and I posted a lot of other stories as well, but I've not published those. So this is the first one I'm deciding to publish. So I used to post this to Air is Human on my blog as a weekly web series. So it wasn't easy to get, sometimes get the right words to convey what I wanted to let the audience get from the book. And sometimes like I said, I wanted to quit, but I just decided to continue because I wanted to get the story out into the world.
Alhamdulillah. So on that note, would you say that like you've always wanted to be a writer?
When I was young, I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay, mashallah.
I wanted to be a doctor, but life happened, and then I couldn't get into the university as I couldn't get the medical course, and when I wanted to get into university, so I had to go to for the next best thing, which was biology.
Okay.
But since I was a young girl, at least everyone in my family is a reader. We read a lot, so I'd always been fascinated with books, with anything literary. Read anything, fiction, non-fiction, documentaries. I love to read, basically. So that's I think that love for reading actually was preparing me for what I would later become in life. So after school, I just decided to pursue my passion for writing. So instead of going for the course I did, because it wasn't something I really wanted to do, so I decided to go to pursue my passion for writing, and then I started, and I didn't look back since then. So to your question, if I knew I was going to be an author, no, I wouldn't say I did. Even when I was sharing the stories as a web series, I didn't think I'd publish it. But after I started, learning about some things and, doing research and saying that, yes, I can self-publish, or I can send my manuscript out to publishers, then I decided, hey, why not? So this To Err is Human is a self-published book. So I decided to, self-publish and become an author.
Mashallah. So you self-published as well, mashallah. Okay, mashallah. Do you know what? Like, I was just thinking, you mentioned that you and everybody in your family are like they're readers.
Yes.
I know a lot of Nigerian sisters, and Allah Mubarak, you guys, mashallah, for me, like, like something to aspire to. You always, especially when it comes to education, always on top of the game, like, and you still manage to do like everything else. Like sometimes, subhanAllah, when I'm busy and I think that I'm doing so many things in life, I just think, well, look at your Nigerian sisters, mashallah, look at them. Like, how do they fit anything in? Like, and you guys will be having like hundreds of babies and like, take care of the house and subhanAllah, like you do everything.
It really is an honor to be, a yardstick you're using to measure, some of these things. It's just that it's inbuilt in us as Nigerians to, hustle, go for the moon, go for the stars, go for the highest level that you can reach. So it's just something that Allah blessed us with, I would say. So
it's just amazing. And you know what came to my mind while you mentioned back to about the reading as well. I recently saw there was a clip, a novelist, she's a Nigerian novelist as well, I think her name Chimamanda
Ngozi,
yes the way, and because the French reporter had asked her some stupid question like, are there bookshops in Nigeria? Subhanallah, and I just thought, like, seriously, like such a so laced with racism, that kind of comment,
Can you imagine? I watched that clip as well, and it was offensive, and she took care of the journalist with so much class. I was so proud. She put her in a place.
Yeah, it's just like, I just thought to myself, well, what kind of question is it to even ask a Nigerian? This woman, she obviously doesn't know anything about Nigerians, to ask about, is there bookshops? SubhanAllah, ask how many books Nigerians are writing in the first place before you ask about bookshops. That's what you need to be asking about. SubhanAllah.
Can you imagine? SubhanAllah. If I won't even let us digress and go into how many bookshops, how many people publish on Amazon daily, how many Nigerians publish books, self-publish their books on Amazon daily. I won't even want to go into that. And there's some people that don't even publish on Amazon, but go to local publishers and get their manuscripts done, get those manuscripts to those publishers and start selling. So it's not like we are just, it's because of the narrative that's being pushed, really, of Africans. Africans are always dirty. They are in, they are in not too good circumstances. We don't have cars. I've had someone ask my husband here. He asked my husband before, one time he was like, do you have cars in Nigeria?
What?
And I was like, my God.
when you are manufacturing cars, subhanAllah.
Can you imagine? Wow. He asked him the question and my husband just laughed. He was like, what sort of question is that? Are we so backward? Do we ride on donkeys, or what do you think? So it's basically because of the narrative that is being pushed, that Africans are poor, they're stupid, there's this saying that goes, if you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book or something like that. That saying, it's not true. It's not true.
Not at all. So back to talking about the book. Who would you say your biggest supporter was while writing this book?
Biggest supporter or biggest supporters? Because I had I had a lot of supporters, but I would say my biggest supporter, well, he is my husband.
Allahumma barik.
He gave me space to do my thing. to grow, to write. He supported me in every way when I was I'm still training out. He supported me financially, emotionally. I was trying to train to become a better writer. Like I said before, he gave me space, and basically he's my biggest supporter, my biggest cheerleader. And then like we have a saying in the literary space, better readers. We have better readers. People we send our manuscripts to read from the point of view of the audience. But he is my alpha reader. He's my alpha reader. He's the one that reads first. And I would say my family. That's my sisters and extended family, and then my audience, because like I said, I share web series, so they really motivate me. Their support really motivates me to keep going and writing.
Alhamdulillah, so, yes. Alhamdulillah, that's amazing, and definitely, inshallah, we're gonna put the link to your web series as well, or your website that you've got in the description, inshallah, because I'm interested in that too. Actually, I don't really have much personally experience with web series. I know that I know some people who do follow a lot of web series and things like that, but especially your genre is Islamic fiction. I haven't heard of any other sisters, like, since I've been doing this podcast, who are doing that as well. So that would be really interesting for some readers, because obviously they're short stories, isn't it? Like on a weekly basis or something.
Yes. I have some short stories on as well. The most recent one, or the ongoing one right now, is we are 30 chapters in. So I've stopped writing it for a while, but it's still, so it's basically there are short stories. You can have a quick read, really. It's something one can read.
Alhamdulillah. And where is your book going to be available then, since you've self-published?
Okay, it will be available on the major bookstores, Amazon, obviously I did, Book Depository, Google Books. I'll give you the link.
Inshallah,
I'll give you the link so that you'll help me put it in the description box, and you can also get it on my website. Inshallah.
Okay, great, inshallah. So lastly, sister, what would you advise any other Muslimah who would like to get into writing and author a book?
First, write every day. Write every day. Try to carve out time, even if it's 5 minutes, even if it's just a few lines. Just make sure you write every day, because practice makes perfect, like it said. So you have to keep writing every day, and then permit yourself to write badly, because you won't. Even the greats, even the Chimamandas and the J.K. Rowlings and the Stephen Kings, they didn't get it right. They didn't write perfectly the first time. So just permit yourself to write badly at first, and then continue, and then it will get better. Also, pray to Allah for guidance. Pray to help from Him, because He's the creator of the pen, so He controls the pen. So just pray to Him to inspire you to conceive stories that would change the world, or that will fit whatever goals that you have in mind. So just pray to Allah for guidance and help, and trust Him, and also trust the process. It may look hard at first, may seem hard at first, but it will get better. And finally, no, not finally, I have another point after this. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Get a mentor, take writing courses, invest in yourself so that you can be the best writer you can be. And then lastly, read a lot of books in whatever genre that you're writing. If you want to write a nonfiction book, read a lot of nonfiction books so that you'll be able to get a feel of how it is done. And if you want to write fiction, read a lot of fiction as well. So
okay, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, sister. Thank you so much. Very good advice, and such a wonderful interview as well. And we're looking forward definitely to see your book online and to purchase it, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khairan for having me. It was a stimulating interview, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Barakallahu feekum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.